Hey, good evening to our webinar today with Pimcore and Credencys about fast-tracking retail success with Pimcore and the Credencys Retail Accelerator. I'm very pleased to welcome you all in this either early morning hours or if you are located in Europe like I am, late in the evening. My name is Philip Krüger. I'm the Vice President Marketing and Consulting here at Pimcore. And I have the pleasure to have Sagar with me today, so you will get a second to introduce yourself as well today. And we want to show you guys a small presentation or a larger presentation about the challenges that we see in the retail industry and how having the right set of master data can actually help you to overcome them and actually present the best possible experiences for your customers at the end of the day. So I'll just start to share my screen. And while I'm doing that, Sagar, you're welcome to introduce yourself.
Sure. I'm Sagar. I'm the CTO at Credencys. And thank you, Philip, for introducing me earlier as well. And we have been a partner with Pimcore for over 4 years now, but have been working with Pimcore projects for about 7 years. PIM and MDM is what we do, 100%. And my personal role in the company is to make sure that working with the technical architecture team at Credencys and making sure that whatever Pimcore implementations that we are undertaking are aligned with the business needs of our customer. So that's what I do in a nutshell. Hand it over to you, Philip.
Perfect, thank you. So before we take a look at the agenda, maybe 1 or 2 sentences around housekeeping. So we will do the presentation, obviously, and we'll try to do it in an entertaining way and more in a discussion kind of way. If you have any questions, you are very welcome to raise them in the questions tab of the Livestream app. So we will see them. We will not directly answer them. However, we will have some time, some spare time left at the end for a Q&A session. I'll make sure that I'll manage to take a look, and Sagar will also do the same thing. We'll manage to get all the questions, hopefully, and then answer it when we're done presenting, basically. That was that. Besides that, we will have 2 polls over the course of the webinar as well. Those will be launched, and just to get an idea of where you are, what you're doing, and yeah, where we could possibly help you in the future. So yeah, I'll start basically. So let's have a look at the agenda as the first thing to do basically today. So as I said, what we'll start off with, and this is my part basically, is we picked out 3 of the major retail challenges that we see, not only in the US, but of course as well or not only in Europe, but as well in the US. That we picked out. So what are the main challenges that you guys are facing at the moment, or some of you guys in the industry are facing, and how they are connected to product master data at the end of the day. So we'll take a look at those. We have some examples and basically just discuss those and see how a good software solution can help you there. Then I have a small slot to introduce you to Pimcore in case you don't know us yet, which would be a shame, obviously. But we're very happy to help you to understand what Pimcore actually does. And then we have, then I'll hand over to Sagar, and Sagar would do an introduction of the Retail Accelerator that Credencys is shipping based on Pimcore to actually help to get the maximum out of Pimcore for a retail company. We'll take a look at the features and benefits. And as I said, at the end, we'll have a Q&A session ready for you guys to have an open discussion, hopefully, or answering your questions that may arise during the webinar. So having said that, let's dive right in. So the first retail challenges that we see, or the retail challenges that we see, I think the first one is actually quite obvious. Yeah, we are talking about customer journeys all the time. We're talking about journeys that are incredible and that are awesome and that actually differentiate yourself from your competitors. So it's easy to just ship a box with goods, right? But it's a completely different kind of thing if you want to turn customers into fans that are actually love your brand, that I love to interacting with you. In order to get to that state, you need a ton of data. You need a ton of data that you can process, that you can collect, from your customers. It's not only about knowing their name to say hello John on your website. It's basically about knowing their sentiments towards certain brands or towards certain parts of your assortment, understanding how they are reacting on different prices and changes, how they're reacting on promotions, how they are reacting on different buying impulses and nudges. So it's really about understanding what customers are doing and what their intent is. So if you want to go there and if you want to provide that kind of experience, you need a ton of data. And this data needs to be managed somewhere, and it needs to be managed in a way where you actually also have access to it for your experience management components like your CMS or your website, your e-commerce framework. So data is basically a bon mot by now. Data is the fuel of our century, right? So what we want to do is, or what we do at Pimcore is, we're providing a platform that actually lets you connect any kind of data and collect any kind of data, because we believe that at the end of the day, if you want to build really cool experiences online and offline, you need a lot of data. One of those examples is obviously if you want to go into personalized content. We heard about that in the last years a lot. Everybody was directly into hyper-personalization. Everybody wanted to leverage on their CDPs and on their websites capabilities to tailor fit content to customer needs. But of course, the end for that thought was always, well, how can we manage that? Who's producing the content? Now with AI on the table, obviously we can generate more content out of the data that we already have. So this kind of hyper-personalization is actually coming closer to realization. Other things are that of course data that you're using online for online purposes, like guided selling tools, can also help you in your POS. In your brick and mortar stores, to build like guided selling tools directly on the shop floor in case your staff is not there or is in a different kind of discussion with another customer, so that people can actually find the best fitting sports shoe or the best fitting accessories for whatever they have on their own. So this is what we mean with building cool experiences and what kind of data you need. Obviously, you need a lot of understanding what the customer wants, what the customer sentiment towards different parts of your assortment is, and so on and so forth. So to manage this data is key in order to make it accessible, in order to make it useful, basically, for building those tailor-fit experiences. That's the first one. The second one that we see is touchpoint management. A new touchpoint every day. We see a lot of new touch points. We see a lot of new trends, and actually the time frame or the cadence between the different new touch points arising, it's getting shorter by the day, basically. So I mean, we have talked a lot about, of course, we are selling stuff online. Yeah, I think we're all through that now. But then we had like, how do we sell on social media? How do we sell on marketplaces? How do we sell on voice commerce devices? How do we sell in the car? How do we sell at different touch points that we may not even know yet? So the management of new touch points and providing the right set of data, the right set of your assortment basically to the different touch points is one of the challenges that we face every day at a retailer. So having a software that helps you leverage or that helps you build the assortment for the different channels and keeping them alive and managing them constantly is key. This is not only about building new touch points, but also about thinking about how to turn off touch points. Yeah, some of those are actually they are just, you know, a small breath in wind, or however you want to put it. So it's just a relatively short amount of time where a touch point is actually relevant. After that, it falls out of the peer group. Or is overtaken by events because there's something cooler, there's another social network coming out or whatever. So you need to be able to not only cater for the new ones, but also how to manage and maintain the ones that you have, and also how to turn them off whenever business goes to the next channel. So this is also something that is driving a lot of retailers crazy at the moment, and will probably actually drive them even more crazy in the next couple of years. The last one, I think it's actually worse in the US, worse in Europe than in the US, to be honest, is supplier management and supply chain management, basically. So why is that interesting for a retailer? Because you are judged not only by your action, but with a lot of legislative on the horizon, where you have to actually understand how your supply chain works and who was involved, you are not only judged by your actions, but you are also judged by your supplier's actions and by the actions of the supplier, and so on and so forth. So you have to have basically a complete overview of everything that is involved in your product to put it out to the end customer and to make it feasible for them to actually understand what the way of the product was. That is not only coming from a legislative side, that is also coming from a customer demand perspective. People want to know where stuff is built and assembled and sent from, to understand what the impact is, maybe also on from a sustainability level. If they're into more sustainable products, they want to know where does the cotton come from for that particular t-shirt? Is that recycled? Is that, stuff like that? It gets more important by the day. As I said, it's also a legislative question. At least in Europe, we have the new Supply Chain Act on the horizon, where by now in different steps, basically, every product manufacturer and every brand actually selling products needs to equip every item with kind of an ID that actually says where it's produced and what kind of materials were used for that. So there is a lot of stuff that you need to do that, and that is also a data problem, because you need to make sure not only to model that so that you have an understanding of what kind of data you can save, but also to make it accessible for the end customers. This is actually information that you might already have, but you have it somewhere in your ERP procurement system or somewhere else where it's not directly exposed to the customer. But this information is now consequently moved and pulled towards the customer. So there's a different kind of question behind that, how you want to expose that, how you can expose it, how you can make sure that down by the item level, you can actually provide the right information for your customers. So those are the big challenges that we see at the horizon, or some of them are already there. Obviously, there is a lot more going on in retail, especially in retail. It's always the most digitalized industry of them all, to be honest. But those are the questions that we at least, or the topics that we at least see in a lot of conversations with our retailers around the globe. So as I said, who's Pimcore and how can we help? Yeah, while we're at it. So now we've seen some challenges, and what we at Pimcore do, just in a nutshell, and I will not bother you with too many details, but what we do at Pimcore, if I get to the next slide, which my PowerPoint has died. Oh no, it didn't. See, it works. So what we do at Pimcore is basically we are providing a platform that combines data management and experience in one platform. Why are we doing that? So we said, well, it just makes sense. It just makes sense to just manage the data that you use for example, selling products in the same platform where you are actually doing that. So selling products or advertising your products, because you need it. You need the product data in order to cater for the user experience. I had that on the first slide. If you want to go with personalized product descriptions, for example, then you need the product descriptions in the platform where you are showing the product descriptions in the first place. So in order to make that work, in order to save integration effort, we build a platform that actually combines everything in one single platform and make data accessible for everyone, be it from an internal perspective, so that you are able to get this data, obviously, to your suppliers and to your vendors or to your marketplaces or wherever you want to go, but also to make it accessible for your end customers. That all catered from one single platform. So Pimcore is not only one product, Pimcore is actually a lot of products. So let's take a look into which products that is. And as I said, I will not bother you with too many details, but just to give you a brief overview of what our platform actually is. So what do we mean by data management and experience management? It's basically three different clusters of functionality and an operational cluster. So when you buy Pimcore as a platform, you get a unified platform that combines the data management piece and the experience management piece and comes with a lot of integration components. Data management, what we mean by that is obviously we are called Pimcore for a reason. So there's PIM in there, Product Information Management System. So a system that allows you to manage your product information data. Everything from the sales data, like the classical, classical name, description, and so on, but also the media that is attached to it. So be it videos, be it 3D models, be it pictures, obviously. It also allows you to manage live data like stock levels or prices and promotions. This is all part of the platform, basically, that we can provide. We have a master data management, so basically all the other data that comes in an enterprise can be data like your classification data, your navigation data, everything what you can model on our platform. We have a digital asset management as well, so a component that does exactly that, managing digital assets. So not only to deliver them to your front ends, but also to work together with agencies that are doing the image creation for you, for example. So you have a back and forth in production process, and this is modeled in there as well. And we have a customer data platform for collecting customer data and connecting it to everything else. On the experience management side, we have the XP, which is a headless content management system, which can be used in a multi-channel environment. We have commerce engine for actually selling products and making transactional websites. We have portals that lets you access data for your suppliers, for your media agencies in an easier way for easier collaboration. And we have a lot of integration components on the down low there. So our data hub, which is the integration piece that we have, so we can actually build different kind of APIs at a fingertip, basically, be it on REST, be it on XML, be it on GraphQL, be it file exports, be it JSON, doesn't matter. Every kind of format is supported, and we can build them directly in runtime, so you don't have to deploy something or actually develop something. You can basically just configure it in the platform. What we also have since the beginning of this year is the Copilot, which is an extendable and context-sensitive AI component that we have now built into the platform, which can help you to build use cases like generating product descriptions that are for a certain customer segment, or automatically building variants and stuff like that. So all the tedious tasks in your daily work and your daily routine can be done by the Copilot. You can have your own models, you can integrate your own models. So there is a lot of things that you can do there from an AI perspective. And of course, if you buy Pimcore, you get some operation support from us, like our long-term support. You have access to our consulting people, and you get a service level agreement. So that is basically what Pimcore is. One combined platform that serves every need regarding master data data management and experience management. Everything is connected. So when you go into a project with Pimcore, as all those components are already talking to each other, and all of those components can be interchanged and can interchange data, you have a very, very strong tool from the get-go, because you do not have to think about how can I now connect my Syndigo to my Contentful and then to my Commerce Tools instance, for example, just to name a few. So everything is pre-integrated, everything already works together. So if you want to pull content from your website to your products, that's not a problem. If you want to pull assets into your product, that's not a problem. If you want to take the segments out of your CDP into your assets, that's also not a problem. So you can basically mix and match the different pieces of data. If you already have some of those components in place, I mean, it's 2024 after all, that's also not a problem. From the third integration component that we see here on the bottom, our core API. So Pimcore is an API-first software, so you can interchange components and use them as if they were part of the platform. So if you already have a CDP, that's fine. We can work with the segments and the users and the groups coming from those CDPs. If you already have a DAM in place, already fine. We can just leverage on the assets coming from there. So that's the different kind of ways that you can play it around. This is how Pimcore works. So that was the short introduction, hopefully short introduction to Pimcore and how our platform works. We'll say that in the end as well. Again, if you have any kind of questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We are always happy to help and always happy to show you some more of what the platform can do. As you can see, a lot of components, so there's a lot to talk about if we're getting started. So before I do that, I'll just hand over to Sagar with his slides and the Retail Accelerator coming from Credencys. So Sagar, the stage is yours. I guess you have to share your screen now. So,
sure, Philip. Thank you. Julia, do we want to put that first poll up?
Oh yeah, we've prepared the polls. There it is. It works like a charm. Yeah, so what we wanted to ask basically is just where are you in your PIM journey? So is that something that you already have in place? Is it something that you're just considering you want to do in the next 12 months, or you're just exploring your options and what it is? So that was just one short question, and then you can submit your vote. and we can go on, Sagar, if you want to.
Sure, I will. Thank you, Philip, for that. All right. So thank you, Philip, for the great introduction to the product. We at Credences have been working with Pimcore for over 7 years. And over those 7 years, we have worked with retailers across the board. And that has been retailers in US, Europe, Asia, uh, and retailers, we understand, come in different shapes and sizes, right? So we have worked with retailers who are into selling of, for example, consumer electronics or fashion, apparels, household items, so on and so forth, you name it. And what we discussed internally a couple of years back is that, well, we have worked with different retailers across the globe, and obviously each retail company is a different company, but there is always that common denominator of challenges that they face. And what we did was uh, we took that common denominator, those challenges that most retailers face, and created a solution over Pimcore. And that solution is the Retail Accelerator, right? So jumping on to the next screen. So what is a Retail Accelerator? So as I said, a lot of companies come to us and they say that, hey, I'm a retail company and we have been having challenges in managing our product data and other master data. Can you help us implement Pimcore? And while we do that, we came across various common challenges that every retailer faces, right? So we took those challenges together and built a solution so that when we now go and talk to a retailer, we are like, hey, we understand that these are the challenges that you might face. And we already have that solution built on Pimcore, which we can demonstrate. So during your implementation journey, you need not start from square one, right? You're actually getting accelerated. You're starting way ahead, and you complete your journey faster. You get a quicker ROI to your PIM implementation, right? So the Pimcore accelerator is built on Pimcore version 11. We just calculated, this is just a rough number, top of my head, about all the retail projects that we have worked on, about 60,000 plus hours of implementation of Pimcore. And what it does is it basically incorporates all the best practices that retailers follow or should follow um, in order to resolve the challenges that they face. And this is not only about retailers. As I said, retailers is a large percentage of customers that we serve, but also we serve manufacturing customers, right? But all in all of them are looking to get the product information from wherever they are in different silos, get it into one place, enrich that data, and send it out, whether it's on their own website, whether it is going to marketplaces, or it's just showcasing their on their company website, right? So that's what the Retail Accelerator is in a nutshell. We'll go to some features as to what this Retail Accelerator has. What are the built-in features that the accelerator actually delivers to someone who implements it? Right. So every journey for a PIM implementation starts from modeling the data, which means that we step in as implementers. We understand what's the data model, what are your product classifications, your taxonomies, your product storage locations, your product hierarchies, where the digital assets are stored, what are the related master data to your product. For example, the simple ones are category, but it could be business, division, so on and so forth, right? And we also understand where do you want to sell it. You might also have certain attributes in your product that are related to the channel that you are selling on. For example, you're selling on Amazon. You might want to have Amazon related attributes therein inside your data model, right? So what this Retail Accelerator has is that it has an industry grade data model. Now, I do not use those words lightly. You will come across, obviously, a lot of retail accelerators. If you Google it, you will find a lot many retail accelerators. But what we have seen that when we started exploring as to what other companies are doing in terms of having an accelerator and having it as a solution that the customers can quickly start with, we noticed that this was more of a kind of a demo application and not really an accelerator. What I mean by that is that, okay, they put something together with some basic attributes that showcase, okay, this is the product and this is how it is enriched. But what we did is we took a couple of steps back and say, let's figure out what are the other reference data sets that a product needs. So what the accelerator comes is pre-built 30 plus reference data sets to be used along with the product, including the data model, the complete data model of the product. The relationships between the reference data sets and the product data are already defined. Also, it has got inbuilt data validations. Now, these validations obviously come from the hours and hours of implementing PIM across various retail customers, right? And it is loaded with actual data. So when you see it, you will, for example, if you are retailing consumer electronics or apparels or outdoor gear or household items or whatever that is, right? So you will see the actual data run in the accelerator, right? And it is 100% flexible to adapt to the business model. So this was the number one point, although I've kept it last on the slide, but this was the most important point when we were creating this accelerator, which took us about 6 to 8 months to build internally with a dedicated team, was that, okay, this accelerator has to be adaptive to the business model in which it is going to be implemented. Right? And what we have done is, despite of having a lot of integrations and workflows and all that, which will come to that, we have made sure that Pimcore as such is a product, and I'm a techie guy, and I love Pimcore because of one reason is that you don't need to adapt to Pimcore. Pimcore actually adapts to your business data model, and that's the best part about Pimcore that I like. And the accelerator actually follows that paradigm as well. So when it comes to data model, you already have your data set, you have data uploaded into Pimcore, but that data is kind of useless, right? If you're not able to integrate upstream and downstream systems to Pimcore. So what the accelerator also has is that it has got inbuilt templates for migration of data. If you have data in a certain format, in file formats, we can take those file formats and ingest data into Pimcore with our ready-to-go data migration templates. And the same goes with exports, right? A lot of our customers come to us and say that, hey, we need to export data for reporting purposes, or we need to deliver it to a different internal system, so on and so forth. So we also provide a very convenient way of exporting data out of Pimcore. Also, in terms of getting the data out in front of your customers, it has got connectors. The Retail Accelerator has connectors to Shopify, Magento, Salesforce Commerce, SAP Commerce, so on and so forth, built in to the solution. It also has third-party marketplaces connected, like Amazon, so on and so forth, right? And all these connections, inbound or outbound, come with the Retail Accelerator when you install it on top of the Pimcore applications. So that was about integrations. I'll go to workflows next. We also understood that regardless of the retail company that we are implementing, there are always 4 or 5 key roles that work in the entire product data management supply chain process, right? So you have the vendor or supplier, or if you are manufacturing, you have your ERP, right? From where you get your product information, you get it into Pimcore. Then is the business merchandiser, who is basically coordinating with the vendor or supplier for those products. And then you have the marketing team whose job is to enrich the product information within Pimcore. And the marketing team is typically involved with making sure that you've got the right description, the right categories, the right attributes, the taxonomies are there for the downstream systems, the pricing is set, so on and so forth. And then you have the sales and e-commerce team, which are basically taking your entire product portfolio and picking products to be sold on various channels. Right, and then the administration part of it. So these are the 5 key roles that we saw in every retailer that we implemented. And we thought every retailer is different, but when we started implementing PIM projects over the course of 3 or 4 years, we realized it's the same roles that are interacting with product data. So we started understanding what are the challenges of these roles. What are the challenges that a merchandiser faces? What are the challenges that a marketing guy faces in terms of managing product data? Or what are the challenges that the vendor or the supplier who is supplying goods to the retailer faces when they want to share product information with the supplier? And we took all those challenges together and we made sure we build a workflow, which you see, a screenshot of that you see on the right side, that allows the product to flow from the supplier to the merchandiser, who basically intakes the product, approves the product, then the marketing team, which enriches the product content and uploads it to the sales or e-commerce team, then publishes it to the downstream channel, right? And it's not just that workflow. We also understood that the 4 basic workflows that every retail company talks about or worries about or is involved in is new product creation. It's a separate workflow that probably involves all the above roles that we spoke about. Price changes, right? So there are a lot of retail customers in apparel and jewelry domains that we work in that have constant price updates going on, whether they are for seasonal products or products that are fading away, so on and so forth. Discontinuing products. This is typically for fashion-related retailers, wherein you need to discontinue certain products after a certain period of time. So how do you manage that? What's the workflow to do that? And then how do you keep on having product updates go on? So a lot of our customers come to us and say that, hey, we've got this product that has these 3 variants. Let's say it's a shirt, which is white, black, and red. And now I've got another variant, blue, that needs to be introduced. How can I quickly get it in? So that's a product update, right? Adding a variant to a product. So we have configured all these 4 workflows along with these 5 roles within the retail company inside our retail accelerator. So after covering data model integrations and workflow, the next challenge that we try to resolve through our retail accelerator is having quality and governance of data. Right? We understood that when we stepped in into having PIM implementations or going through PIM implementations with our customers, there was always a worry about the data that is going out of the company or the organization. Does it meet the quality standards? Does it meet the standards that the downstream channel asks us to? Do we have proper governance of the data, which means that are the right people in the company able to see and edit the right kind of data? Right. So we built quality and governance inside Pimcore. You can see some screenshots right there as to the roles that come predefined, and also what the authorizations for these roles are also predefined. On top of it, there's an out-of-the-box in the retail accelerator data quality reports, wherein you could define your own quality metrics and get reports quickly about how good the data is. And it can be as simple as having mandatory fields checked whether the data is there or not, or it could be complex. It could be relational validations of data quality that needs to be done. For example, if I belong to this category, then these 3 attributes are compulsory. If the product does not belong to this category, then there is another set of attributes that become mandatory. Right? So those kind of complex checks are also built in into the accelerator. Well, if you're a retailer that is aggregating products, and this is something that the merchandiser, we felt that a lot of pain that the merchandisers have within the company is coordinating or collaborating with the suppliers on getting the right product data in. Right. So what we built into the retail accelerator is a supplier portal, wherein the suppliers themselves could log in, and they have their own workspace wherein they can upload their products, which immediately goes through data quality checks that are being set by the organization. And once those checks pass, then and only then they are then moved on to the merchandiser for verification. And if the merchandiser then rejects for whatever reason, it goes back to the supplier. So the entire workflow that used to happen in Excel sheets, over emails, over file dumps, is now digitized inside the retail accelerator. Well, these days, no conversations can end without having AI/ML, isn't it? This is something that one of the newest features that we implemented about 6 to 8 months back. We have a lot of customers who started talking to us about, hey, everything is cool, but what about AI? We want to use AI. and we're not sure how and when to use it, but we definitely want to use it because it seems like it's the cool thing to do, right? So what we did was we took the coolness out of AI, and we thought, okay, let's look at AI and ML, the emerging technologies, and let's look at product data management. And that is where the marriage happened. So we have built-in AI and ML capabilities to enhance product description using large language models, generative AI. Also have image detection. So one of the largest retailers we worked with had a ton of images that were stored in a drive, and they were having a very difficult time to associate those images to the products, right? So can I have something that reads the image in AI and is a machine trained model, identifies the image, and then automatically attaches it to a product or a category, right? So these are some use cases in AI ML that are also built into the Retail Accelerator. So quickly summarizing, guys, the features of the Retail Accelerator. We talked about the data model with its 30 plus reference data set already built in with live data that you could see. Integrations allow you to onboard data quickly. And this is something that integration is specifically something that I was personally involved in because, as I told you, I've been an architect, a techie guy all my life. And PIM is usually the last animal in the zoo, right? So you have an e-commerce system, you have an order management system, you have a website, you have your ERP, you have your warehouse management system, and then you introduce PIM. And a lot of work that we do in PIM implementations is making sure that the PIM integrates with all your existing systems, and so that it becomes the single source of truth for product information, right? So that is where we saw how integrations upstream and downstream. When I talk about upstream, I'm talking about ingesting data. When I talk about downstream, I'm talking about syndicating data or sending data across to these channels. And then the workflows and roles that we discussed about, quality and governance, supplier portal. The entire Retail Accelerator is context aware. We understand that as retailers expand geographies, expand locales, all products might not be relevant to all geographies and locales. And hence, there has to be an intersection of the product classification and the context in which the product is being sold. So the Retail Accelerator comes in built with that. And obviously, it comes with the fantastic digital asset management capabilities of Pimcore itself. So that was a quick summary of the features of Pimcore. A lot about features, right? So I guess everybody might be thinking, all right, this is all cool, but what do I get out of it, right? So kind of put something together which summarizes what are the benefits that a retailer would get if they implement Pimcore along with the Retail Accelerator. So number one, industry best practices included. We, having worked with 50 plus PIM implementations across retailers of different types, different sizes, across geographies, we kind of got all the best practices that we learned from these projects and have put it into the Retail Accelerator. So a lot of our customers, when they implement the Retail Accelerator, they really appreciate us because we not only implement the PIM for them, but we also suggest or recommend that, okay, this is the right way to have the workflow for data management in your company, right? That's an example. Since it's quick, it has got all these features built in. We have been able to set up an MVP within 10 weeks of starting the PIM implementation project. It reduces the cost of implementation by 30%, and I'll come to that. We have some statistical data that kind of supports this number of 30%. And it's 100% customizable. Like I said, it doesn't matter what you are selling, where you are selling, and where are you getting the data from. The Retail Accelerator can be 100% customized to what the needs are. It has obviously rapid data onboarding for our large customers that have millions of products. Data onboarding is always a question. How do we get our data in one format? How do we get it in a sensible format that then it can be quickly onboarded into the Pimcore platform? That's the benefit that you get. Also, we understand a lot of our customers sell online, right? So what we did was we took all the top e-commerce providers, like I said, Magento, Salesforce Commerce, SAP, so on and so forth. And we have built connectors to each one of them. So if you want to upload a product on Shopify, you want to update the product on Shopify, you want to update your pricing on Shopify or Magento or any of these products, we already got that covered. It comes with the Retail Accelerator. Also, it comes with out-of-the-box business rules. Right now, this might raise a couple of eyebrows that, all right, how does Credencys know about our business rules, right? Because that is very specific to our business. Well, that's true. A lot of the business rules are specific to the retail business that you guys are in, but a lot of them are also common across retailers, and that's what comes out of the Retail Accelerator. And it is future ready. By that, what I mean is we have just started on the journey of introducing AI/ML, and we are very excited to be part of or a partner of Pimcore that continuously keeps on adding features to the product itself. And that keeps implementers like us on their toes because we continuously keep on adapting and we have to keep on adding to this baby Retail Accelerator that we have, right? So, and this is what I was talking about. This is a graph of implementation. On the y-axis, you see the percentage completion of the PIM implementation project. On the x-axis, you see the number of months it took, right? And this is a comparison. The purple line and the blue line is a comparison of two very similar sized retailers in the same geography that we worked in. There was a difference of about 12 to 18 months between these two projects. But the one on the top, we implemented a Retail Accelerator, and the curve in the bottom that you see was without the Retail Accelerator, right? And what you see here, you will see a bump right here. As you see, it goes down. This is where the additional scope or change requests come in, and you could see how the Retail Accelerator quickly adapted to that change in scope because of inbuilt capabilities, and how the other project kind of took a longer curve to execute. And when we compare these two projects, we see that there was about 45% reduction in timeline and cost when we implemented it. Right, as I said, something about Credencys now that I think I've talked a lot about the Retail Accelerator, and I can go on and on because it's a baby, it's my baby. And I've been leading the team that keeps on adding features to the Retail Accelerator. And it's just growing because as we learn more from retailers, we just keep on adding features to it. But as Credencys, we are a platinum partner at Pimcore, over 150 plus PIM MDM experts. We invest a lot in certification of Pimcore. We make sure that before our team is engaged on any kind of a Pimcore project, they are always trained and certified before they start talking or start engaging with our customers. We are there in US, Canada, Finland, and India. And these are some quick overall services that we provide. We spoke about PIM implementation. We also help companies in doing value workshop and readiness assessments. Are you ready for a PIM solution to be implemented? We have a strategic initiative within our company that we offer to a lot of our clients who are wondering, hey, is the PIM right for us? Are we ready for a PIM as an organization? So on and so forth. Do an ROI analysis. And I strongly believe that technology should not be implemented just because it is cool. It should be implemented because it has an ROI and serves the business purpose. And then we obviously help getting the data onboarded, like I mentioned, getting data on the platform, govern the data, and send the data across to various syndication channels. So I'll probably stop here. We'll open it to Q&A, but before that, Julia, if you can help me with a poll. I'm not sure how many of you have heard about the Retail Accelerator, so just wanted to get a feel in the room. Have you guys heard about it? Or based on what you see right now, is it something that is exciting? And we'll open this session for Q&A.
Okay, thank you, Sagar. Oh, now we're full screen again. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. Surprised to see myself. Anyway, okay. Yeah, we have We have at least one question coming from Jeff. So he was asking how you manage the scope. So how do you decide on which features go into the Retail Accelerator? How do you manage the scope and make sure that it's not, getting another convoluted, all the processes are in it kind of monster that you then have to customize again for a customer and basically spend the same time or amount of time than just building it from scratch. So how do you do the scope management and avoid the scope creep?
That's a very good question, and we get that a lot now that Retail Accelerator has been successfully implemented across a lot of our customers. What we do is once we understand what the data model is and what your internal workflow processes are, and what are the integrations that you need, we automatically dissect and figure out, okay, these are the components within the Retail Accelerator that are extremely useful to you. And so these are the components that you can use as is within the platform. And there is another set of components within the Retail Accelerator that you could use with modifications. And then there's a third set, which is very specific to your business, which can be built. So all these components that I spoke about modeling, workflows, integrations, governance, AI, ML, they all are built in a very modular fashion. So we are quickly, our architects are quickly able to figure out which ones fall in the first, second, and the third bucket.
Perfect. Good. Another one that I have here, and that is also something that interests me, of course. So obviously Pimcore is a commercial product, but the Retail Accelerator probably is as well, right? So how does the commercial model of the Retail Accelerator work? Is it a subscription based? On what is it based? How does that work?
That's a very good question. The Retail Accelerator does not cost you anything. This is something, yeah, you didn't know that. Okay. It doesn't cost you anything.
I like it. I just wanted to show that I like it. I just had to, I'm just easily amazed.
Cool. So it doesn't cost you anything. It's a solution that we have built, right? We wanted to service our customers in the best way possible. We wanted to get them on the journey and get them to the destination as fast as we could. And that was the drive behind the accelerator, right? And we are very glad to have excellent experienced architects in our team. Well, they all do the heavy lifting and the good work. I'm just here on the webinar taking all the credit for it. So, but absolutely no cost for implementing the Retail Accelerator.
And you're actually saving time and money on the implementation time and get a faster ROI. So that's a really, really strong case from a commercial perspective. Yeah. And there is another one. So is it just, obviously it's called Retail Accelerator, so it's aiming at the retail space, but is that also from a modeling perspective, does it make sense to modify it if I'm in a different industry? I mean, something that is close to retail, for example, like if I'm in FMCG or CPG or something like that, obviously it should work, right? Or D2C, but what's your take on that?
Yeah, so as I said, all these modules within the Retail Accelerator, right, are kind of independent in function, right? So we have implemented the Retail Accelerator for a chemical manufacturing company too, right? And what we took from the Retail Accelerator was the modeling part of it, right? Because we already worked for a chemical company earlier, and it has been our experience of working with chemical manufacturers. I'm just giving chemical manufacturers as an example because it is way off than fashion, jewelry, retail, and all that. And then we took the governance aspects, the AI ML aspects, right, and kind of modified the workflows within the Retail Accelerator and created that solution for them. So if it is retail and CPG, I would say 50% of modules that we have implemented fall into the first bucket, which means that they can just be picked and used starting from. When it comes to companies as diverse as a chemical manufacturer or a hardware manufacturer, right? It's probably 25-30% of those modules would be ready to be used, and the rest to be modified, right? So it all depends, but it adds a great value to start.
Yeah. Sounds good. So that was the questions that we had. So is there anything more? That is now your chance basically to raise a question to us. If not, maybe you have to digest it first. We understand that, obviously. So I'll just taking a look at the chat. So if there's something coming up, I'll see that. But in the meantime, I'll just then do a short and proper, hopefully, closing moderation. So let me just quickly share my screen again. So if you are too shy to ask a question right now, which is perfectly fine, or you have to digest the information first, as far as I remember, the slides will be available for you if you have attended or registered for the webinar. So there should be a download link somewhere in the after mailing, as far as I know. So if you want to digest this first, and then some questions arise, obviously, feel free to ask us. So if you have any question around Pimcore in general, I want to see some more of okay, we just got one more question from Jeff. That is great. I'll just come to so because I just like how it's phrased, so I will just read it out. So for clarity, the Accelerator product is basically what you can get if you are partnering up with Credencys to build your Pimcore installation, right? Or how does Sagar get paid? That's it. That's a good one. How are you? How do you get paid?
Cool. I'll take that. But yes, you get the retail accelerator if you collaborate with Credencys on your implementation journey, 100%. As I told you, it's my baby, right? So I'm not giving it away. But as far as the cost is concerned, we strive for making our customers successful as soon as we can. And that's been the motto of the company. That's what drives us. To number one, to provide quick ROI to their investments, and number two, to get them to the destination. And it has kind of worked for us, Philip and Jeff. I think Jeff asked that question, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It kind of worked for us because now that we are done with their product data journey, we start talking about the location and the vendors and suppliers and customers and mastering that data. Right. So that's the kind of trust our customers have built in us. In fact, at least out of the PIM implementations that we have done, about 30% of them, we are already talking about multi-domain and expanding it to other domains and mastering other domains within the organization. So gives us more business in the other way and keeps the customers happy.
It's a fair deal at the end of the day, right? I mean, you get the projects, and the customer gets a faster time to market. It's a fair and square deal. So yeah, I'll start the end moderation again. I just wanted to read it out, to be honest. It's just too good. So yeah, as I said, thank you very much for participating and listening to the both of us for this either very early or very late hour. Basically, so hope you found some useful information around Pimcore and Retail Accelerator and Credencys in that hour. Yeah, so if you have any questions, so as I said, you will get the access to the slides after the meeting or after the webinar. So you can actually take a look at that and maybe dive a bit deeper on those. And if you have any more questions, be it around Pimcore, then you are always very, very welcome to contact me either via email, you see that there, or just punching in my name at LinkedIn. That also works. And I'm always happy to be connected to more fellow Pimconauts around the globe. So if you want to, or maybe Pimconauts to be around the globe. So I would love to connect with you guys on LinkedIn. If you have any questions, just ask. Same goes for Sagar. If you have any questions around the Retail Accelerator, how the commercial model looks like, how Sagar is actually getting paid, then obviously reach out to him. He has also a very, very great sales team and a very, very great marketing team. I know that for Pimcore as well, I also have a very great marketing team and a very great sales team. So we love to get engaged with you. So there is no other question. So I would say we're 7 minutes ahead of time. So Sagar, thank you very much for being here today and having that or running that show for us, with me, for us. Yeah, that's right. It was a pleasure to have you. Thank you, everyone who was tuning in today, and hopefully you had a good time. That's it from my side. Thank you very much. Have a good day, evening, night, wherever you are. Have a safe day.
Thank you all for sparing the time and hearing us out. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.